is a system in place. The system is called school to prison pipeline. In case you don't know, the system is real. It exists.
I'm so glad I'm in front of you. When the last time you heard somebody tell you they loved you?
Yes, it
How did that make you feel? Made you feel good, right? These speakers that's coming before you, just taking out their day. I know some of us probably $200,000 missed by just being right here. $50,000 just being right here. $10,000. If nothing else we say, just know our presence is saying, we love you. If nobody never told you that, we're telling you that now. We love you. You know somebody else telling you something? I did 3.5 years in a federal prison for a crime I didn't do.
Lee Robbins' successful life as pastor, husband, father, and businessman fell apart when one of his employees took some illegal actions in order to help a client. As the owner, Robbins took the fall and served prison time. When Georgia's Department of Corrections eventually released Pastor Robbins, he experienced firsthand the trials that most ex-prisoners face upon re-entry.
Before I went to prison, I had a very productive life, actually. I was pastoring a church, wife, 3 children, being a blessing to folk. While in prison, that's when I came through that paradigm shift in my attitude. I started saying, you know, the Lord put it in my heart, and He said, can these, he asked me the question in just reading the scriptures. As I was reading the scriptures, he says, can these bones live? Ezekiel 37. And he said, I said to God, you know, he asking me, I said to God, you know, just like Ezekiel did. And he said, well, you need to speak life to them. And immediately, when the word I got from speaking life was, start a program that will encourage them to do better coming out of prison. And I started the PATH program, which stands for Purpose Achieved Through Him. That's the acronym for Purpose Achieved Through Him. The challenges that I faced when I was released from prison was just finding a job, you know. Having a educational background like that I have, but yet not able to find a job still was very challenging. I can only imagine how difficult it is for people who don't have a strong skill background or educational background. The church is here not to judge, but to help to rehabilitate. And we have to, you know, excuse my language, but we have to love the jail out of them. And the church is set up for that. The church is here to be healing agents, and really, if the church takes its place in this position, we have the greatest opportunity to take prisoners and make them great parishioners. We always need some organization or some person to link to, you know, to come together. And we know the power of unity. And that's what Out for Life stands for. It stands for bringing the churches together, bringing all of the stakeholders together, bringing the community, bringing the government, bringing different organizations together to collaborate in order to advance people who have coming out of prison.
My wife, my children, I can remember they gave me that sentence for a paper crime. For a paper crime with no money attached to it. The guy that did it walked out of the courtroom. But I did 3.5 years. And when I was in prison, I met people who were broken. I met people who went through a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. The dads weren't there. The mother told them they weren't going to be nothing. And they experienced a lot of pain. And even before I got to prison, I experienced pain at 4 years old when my dad divorced my mother. You know what that said to me? If my dad don't want me, who really do? If my dad doesn't value me, who does? Today, you know how I responded to that? I said, you know what? I'm going to earn people's respect. And I'm going to be somebody. And I'm going to be an overachiever. Just to get somebody to accept me. You know when they didn't accept me? I felt rejection. And you know what you do when you feel rejection? You feel devalued. And you fear rejection. So you start doing stuff to get people to accept you. And even stuff just to be a friend. That's my boy, that's my girl. And you stop holding up to your values. See, I meet a lot of you, you might have started off in faith, whatever your faith is, and then you end up, a lot of them end up in prison or in the burial ground. And why? Because they gave up on their values. They gave up on themselves. And they decided to just act and react and made some bad decisions. Hold that for me, please. Hold this for me, please. Come here. Just one or two of them. I just want one or two. Just tell me what do you think that's made out of? Beads. I got one that say beads. What do you think that's made out of?
Ask him.
What's that made out of? Yes.
No, what you just
Shells. Don't read it. Don't read it. Don't read it. Cardboard like paper. It's made out of paper. It's made out of paper. It feels like marble. You know who made those? Guess who made those? Those in prison who's doing life. You know what they made it out of? Paper. But before they made it out of paper, you know what they wrote on that paper? All their mistakes, all their shortcomings, all their woulda, coulda, shouldas, but they didn't. And they're doing life. But guess what? They're hoping that them doing life can help you not get there. That's why they created that. It's called torn pages. Everybody got something in their life where they have torn pages. Don't think that people smiling and just because they look like they're doing all good. Listen, all of us have been through some pain in our lives. It's how you deal with pain. It could be your friend or it could be your enemy. Which one you gonna let it be? The way I dealt with pain, I had to write a book about it. It's called Pain Pushed Me Into Purpose. Are you gonna let pain push you into prison? Or push you in the grave? Or push you into a place you don't want to be? Or you gonna let it push you into purpose? See, those bracelets, they wanted you to, if you want it, you can have it. They wanted you to have it because every time you wear it on your wrist, they want you to say, listen, this is John, or this is Joseph, this is somebody doing life, and they wrote their mistakes on it, so you won't have to make the mistakes. They're doing time for you. I have a documentary called First Week Out, and it's depicting a guy that did 42 years in prison. 42, it's an award-winning documentary. and is looking at his first week out in our reentry home. We have a reentry home that they go in. We help them to get jobs. We help them to have a life coach. We help them to have transportation to get there. We help all of them because you know what? My pain, I don't want nobody to go to prison because of the pain that I experienced in prison. What about you? What about you? You have your life ahead of you. And because I know if you don't see better, sometimes you don't want to do better. I'm standing up here, right here, before you. You looking at better. I started an organization called Tackle the Shackles. I work with NFL players who work with formerly incarcerated individuals. They help me tackle shackles. And I'm doing well now, but I wasn't doing well then. Because I decided to turn my pain into purpose. You see this watch? How much do you think this watch costs? Man, y'all not gonna beat me down. I hope you don't chase me down. This watch worth more than my car. It's a BMW out there. Over $50,000. Somebody gave it to me. You know why somebody gave me a $50,000 watch? You know why? Because they saw my purpose. And I want to say this last thing to you. When I was in prison, I was at his prison, where he was the Sarge at that prison. And as I was in there doing and ministering to them in prison, he had to be about 18, 19 years old, and I was speaking to lifers at that time. And he said, "Preacher, what do you got to tell me? I'm doing life. I'm 18 years old, I'm doing life. What do you got to tell me?" And I almost swallowed my tongue. I was like, what do I tell them? And then something came to me and said, "Don't do life, do purpose. Find a way to help somebody else." And there's another guy, I'm going to say this and I'm real close, I promise you. There's another guy saying, he did 32 years and I was ministering to him. He said, 32 years I've been in here. I'll never get out of here. I said, "Listen here, you will get out of here." He said, "No, I'll never get out." I said, "The guy that I brought in, he had 2 life sentences and he's here with me." He said, "I'll never get out of here." I came and preached at another lifers program, and they had a letter. The board had a letter, and that letter had his name on it. And they gave it to him, and he walked out. You know why? Because he found his purpose. If you find your purpose will take you everywhere you want to go. It's up to you. Let this pain push you into purpose. All right? Love you.
This is for the pain in my life and all the tears that I've cried. This is for the homies who died and all the years that passed by. And although incarcerated, know the memories are faded away.
Yo, there's no more shark. I need you, cream. Wherefore, out, Dooney, I miss that team. Yo, big ups to black.